morning, afternoon. How is everybody doing? Just get set up here. It's Friday. We made it. We made it to another Friday. Hard to do that. Hard to do that. We live in a crazy monoculture of a world. Silliness and drama. Starving people. Stupid things that we do. Happy Friday, everybody. Let's see, get set up here. Today. I've been asked multiple times, why don't we talk about aliens? Why don't we talk about aliens anymore? I guess the world's gotten crazy. A lot of things in the news, a lot of things that we talk about, but I think it's all related. Some interesting things are happening now that I think we can have a discussion. High technology. The whole world is being starved. Damn it, they're rioting in Greece too. They're rioting in Greece and France and shoot, parts of America, I guess here and there. Bad things happen. People are being starved. Climate change, ecosystem destruction, people not being fed, famines. We need a lot of solutions. And I always think the solutions are a lot easier. I think we can always look back at history. There's always some good examples. I think we can look at the modern day too. So we're gonna have a little bit of a discussion around climate change, ecosystem destruction, UFO alien technology, Bob Lazar, and Sentinel Island. Crazy. I don't know how the hell my head it connects these dots. It's the craziest thing, but it's all related. We can either take care of everybody or we all get to die. The water's always rising. Colonizers always on the coastline. High technology is always being introduced. How's everybody doing this morning? I think we can solve the world's problems if we become anomaly hunters. You must hunt for the anomalies. You must look for the things that are true, that are not being said. Look in places people don't look and ignore what the damn king says. Always. Never trust the king, y'all. Stop it. Please stop. Please stop trusting your lords. Please stop. Stop it. Stop, stop, stop. The search for big G God, not one of worshiping all the little G gods, all the ones trying to control you. The ones on Sentinel Island saying shoot the people who show up with the high technology. All right, let me bring YouTube in. So I figure we'll have a little bit of a fun discussion because I think it's all related because the Bob Lazar documentary's coming out. Bob Lazar, y'all know who Bob Lazar is? Who knows who Bob Lazar is? Y'all know Bob Lazar? He's one of the monkeys on Sentinel Island. Like, listen, some ships came here and we're trying to reverse engineer the metals on the clipper ships and we figured out how to make them into spears. Y'all know about Sentinel Island? Am I the only one? I like to look at culture. I like to look at all kind of crazy things that happens around the world. I think we are Sentinel Island. So Sentinel, let's go to Sentinel Island real quick. I think we are Sentinel Island. I think the Earth is an island. It's an island in a big ocean, surrounded by lots of other islands, lots of things out there. Lots of things out there, but the waters are always rising. So Sentinel Island is one of the uncontacted tribes. Let's go over there real quick. Let me show you that. It's one of the uncontacted tribes off of the coast of India. If you are familiar, every time somebody goes to Sentinel Island, they want to shoot at them. Every time a helicopter pulls up, every time a drone flies out, every time a Christian gets out the boat. It's not funny. It's not funny. But the last one, when was it? Last few years ago, Christian got out the boat. I bring you Jesus. And they murdered him. Every time they fly up to Sentinel Island, every time they try to make a contact. And I think the tribe, they said, came from Africa. They're off the coast of India. And so people will go out there and they'll take pictures from a distance. But now I think the laws say that you can't go within a couple miles of Sentinel Island. But so it's interesting is how does that relate to climate change and UFOs and aliens and high technology? Do you think the sentinelese know we exist? All of them? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that they see airplanes in the sky. I think every now and then some of them reported like, it's an airplane, it's something up there, God's flying around. I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. You're making it up. Lie, Buta, Kumbuta, you making it all up. And the kings who actually know the history, they know the ancient kings there were 4 people taken off of Sentinel Island. They went to England, or 3 of them, and the one died and the other 2 came back telling the stories of old, the ancient texts. Enoch, Ezekiel. This is why I say this, scriptures are so important, y'all. All scriptures are so important, but everything's related. I think how things happen there with Sentinel Island is what happens to us. And so what did the king say? Anytime a airplane shows up, anytime a helicopter shows up, shoot it. Shoot it. Why? Because they take us in those ship things, they abduct us, and they kill us. These are demons. They're not gods, they're demons. And we always listen to the kings. I think this is an important topic now because of Bob Lazar. The Bob Lazar documentary is just about to come out. Oh, here you go. No, this is not Bob Lazar. This is the guy who, I think this is the one who died, right? That's the guy, he went to Sentinel Island. He wanted to bring him Jesus and they killed him. I think that's him right there. Do aliens try to come here? Why would a UFO want to visit us? Would they want to bring us their religion? But I got a lot of questions around that. I don't question anymore if aliens exist. Not in my head. I'm not interested, and that's not a discussion. We're in a time where we're living with mass starvation, mass poverty, no kind of healthcare, people dying, being starved. We're in oil wars. We are killing, robbing, murdering, stealing, colonizing. And some of our brightest, some of our best educated people, some of our people who are capable of empathy and critical thought are okay with all the wars. They're okay with all the destruction. Why? Because we're fighting over resources. They say the next wars will be fought over water. The next wars will be fought over sand. Sand. They're fighting over sand. Oil. And yet we have people on our island, Sentinel Island, coming forward, Earth Sentinel Island, telling us there's high technology out there. Oh, so let me tell you this. So a lot of ships crashed on the island, right? And initially, when they would fly over, the spears they used were wooden. They were wooden arrows. But the ships crashed. The clipper ships. I gotta say, I got a clipper ship. The clipper ships crashed on the island, and they've sat there for years and years. In fact, modern ships have crashed there too. Let me see if I can pull up. Nope, not money. Where's the clipper ship? Let me try to pull up the clipper ship. So the ships crashed on the island. And they've been taking metal and steel off of the ships and iron. And what they've found is that the arrows they've been shooting are iron. So now they are effectively in the Iron Age. Sentinel Island is now in the Iron Age because we brought them there. Is anybody who's telling us that this is happening in the modern world? Anyone like Bob Lazar or like thousands of other people who are coming forward saying that they're looking into these crafts? I find it an interesting discussion now because the Bob Lazar documentary is coming out. If you don't know who Bob Lazar is, he was the physicist who worked at Area 51. He was the one that told everybody they got ships and they aren't crashed, they aren't shot down. I think he said that they looked like they were undamaged, like they were found in an archaeology site. We know human beings are millions of years old. We know we're not the only game in town. We know there's lots of games out there. We know that people have been worshiping the gods that have been coming here, the little g gods, for a long time. They've been writing about them. They've been putting them on the cave walls. He told us about element 115. He explained how they're trying to figure out how the ships work, but they couldn't figure out how they worked, right? Because there were no wires. There was nothing connected. And there were 21 scientists working on, I think he said, 3 ships. And he took people back after he was kicked out. And he told everybody that they got some alien ships. We need to have an Earth discussion. And they kicked him out. They said he was crazy. He took people back to Area 51 and told them when the test flights were. And he had multiple groups of people sitting outside of Area 51 watching the test flights. Every Wednesday, they said. Why did they pick Wednesdays? He said they picked Wednesdays because there's less traffic on the road on Wednesdays. So this is when they would do the test flights of the UFOs that we couldn't reproduce and figure out. And he told the whole world. Why? Because it was important to tell the world that Sentinel Island isn't alone. We're not alone. There's all kind of other ships that they have that we need to reverse engineer. But yet 21 scientists in America working on it that he was aware of. And then something about the Russians were doing it too. The Russians had ships too. See, all of this kicked off right after World War II, right? Like, this is when a lot of the whistleblowers started coming through. What was it, in the 1960s where, who was that? He was in the Air Force. He worked with NATO, where they had a NATO report. I got to go back and see if I can find the name of it. But there was a NATO report. It had to do with aerial threats to Europe. I think there were 15 documents produced. What was that guy's name? Let me go back to find that guy's name. Why is this important? Because the climate change discussion starts at what is the highest level of technology we have to solve the Earth's problems. And there's clipper ships on the coast of our Sentinel Island. There are ships here from places we don't know. And who knows what it is? You know, I think they asked him and he said he doesn't know. He has no idea. That's why I appreciate Bob Lazar. So the other thing, somebody asked me about the Bob Lazar documentary. Yeah, he just did a new one, which is getting released. I think they just had the showing of it in California. Somebody put the link up there. Thank you, Sister Carrie. So the interesting thing about Bob Lazar, because first of all, you'll get your, we're alone in the universe. Human beings are the greatest things. Ain't nothing else out there in our own little head. The first thing they'll say is, well, he's just doing this for money. First of all, Bob Lazar lost his life when he did this. When he came forward and said that these people are lying and they've got these ships and they're trying to reverse engineer these clipper ships that landed on the coast of our Sentinel Island, he lost his life. And in fact, with the documentary, he refused to take a penny. He refused to do interviews. He's not going around doing UFO conferences and making money. He's not writing books. He's not doing any of that. He's just trying to tell the world that we have high technology that's not being utilized and we need to use it. And 21 scientists working on it is a bad idea. And so we got all this spit with Russia now. I was listening to, he did one interview last night. He did one interview, I think it was a few days ago, because he doesn't do interviews. And this was the one he did just for the documentary. The producer got him to do it. It was on YouTube. What was the guy's name? Secure Team. It was on Secure Team. And he said one of the problems we had was that we were working with the Russians to try to figure out how the drive systems works, right? He said there were 3 canisters, they were like barrels, and they were connected by steel pipes. And they were connected by pipes, metallic pipes. He said the problem is we had no idea what the barrels did. We had no idea how to reproduce the metals because it's just so far ahead of us in technology. But he said the Russians had a big discovery. And as soon as the Russians had a big discovery, they shut down their communication with America. And so now they weren't sharing, they were doing their own thing. Highly important. Highly important that everybody watch the documentary, because we always have, I was going to tell you his name. I was looking at this the other night. What is his name? What is the name of the Air Force person who came forward? Because there were hundreds of them. There were thousands of them. I'll post a link for it later. Oh yeah, here we go. Robert Dean. He was the one who came forward and said that there was a NATO report that explained they were looking at aerial threats and for Europe, and that there were 15 documents produced, handed to the leaders of the different nations. And his point was that this is ridiculous. He was just like, our satellites are useless, our tanks are useless, our airplanes are useless. And that began all the studies into it. It's very important that we pay attention to this. We aren't on Sentinel Island alone. We've never been alone. And when we're running out of space because the waters are rising, we're on Sentinel Island and we're not utilizing the technology to feed people. We're allowing governments to have secrets that they shouldn't have. We're allowing our kings to break apart the ships to figure out how to use the Clipper ship. Let me show you this. I thought his testimony was pretty interesting. Robert Dean, he kind of spoke about it to a degree. This is the discussion of the world right now. To me, it is. I mean, you can go talk about we need some new laws and we need some politicians to do this. That's not a discussion to me. A discussion is you utilize the highest technology. You know, they say that 2030 is the end of the time that we can't go beyond reversing any sort of climate change that we're doing. And if we have any means of electrogravitic power generation to stop the wars, to feed people, that's what we need to be doing. We don't have time to invent anything. We have time to shut our governments down and actually become one species. Let me show you this. When your other inhabitants of Sentinel Island, Earth, tell you that your government's lying, you should listen.
Well, Don, it began for me in 1963 when I was assigned to the Supreme Headquarters Allied Powers in Europe. I arrived in the summer of '63 and I was assigned to the Operations Division. I was further assigned to what we call SHOC, the War Room, the Supreme Headquarters Operations Center. And at that time, I was given a cosmic top secret clearance, which was and still is the highest level of security access that NATO has.
I'm gonna pause for a minute. I'm gonna pause. Because right now, you know what a lot of people who don't get this are doing? They're looking at this gentleman and they're trying to determine, is he lying? Is he crazy? Can I trust him? I don't want you to do that. I think if you're a thinker, if you got some critical thought, I want you to open your mind and ask yourself, is my government lying? Can I trust my kings and lords? Have I ever been able to trust them? While Greece is breaking out in riots because the police shot the kid Alexis, and the Yellow Jackets are protesting in Paris, and Americans are starving, and people are being starved in Yemen. Think about them for a minute, just for a minute. Put your little privilege aside, put your doubt aside, and just say, you know what? There are hundreds of people, thousands of people who've come forward in saying that we hide the highest level of technologies. And listen to this man.
When I was assigned to the War Room, I learned that a study had been initiated in 1961, and everybody was talking about it. They were gossiping about it. And the subject was UFOs, and that intrigued me a bit. When that study was concluded in 1964 and it was published, and I was still working in the War Room at that time, I had access to this document. I had a chance to read it. And having been exposed to it, I must tell you honestly that my life has never, ever quite been the same. Because I read first-hand reports, verifiable NATO military material that indicated that the UFOs were not only real, but they represented something far beyond anything I had ever imagined before. When the study was concluded in '64, they concluded that there were 4 different groups apparently coming and visiting us. Out of those 4 different groups, one group looked exactly like we do, so much so that they could sit beside you in a restaurant or in an airplane or in a theater, and you'd never know. And that particular point bothered the military guys a lot. The point being that some of these people from somewhere could be walking up and down the corridors of SHAPE headquarters, or they could be walking up and down the corridors of the Pentagon. One day at lunch, a lieutenant colonel made the remark, he says, Jesus, do you realize they could even be in the White House? And there was a little forced laughter at that point, I remember, because a lot of us over the years have had some misgivings about the occupants of the White House. But the point I'm making is that the idea that aliens could be here in our midst bothered the military, because if you're not paranoid when you go into the service, you're certainly trained very quickly to be so. It's the nature of the military mind, I think, to be paranoid. But that was only part of the story. The shape conclusions in '64 was that there were 4 groups that we knew of. They were apparently interplanetary. Some very likely were interstellar. They even concluded that some of them could be intergalactic. When I retired in 1976, many of our military people knew at that point that we were not simply dealing with visitations from people from other planets or star systems. They had concluded by '76 that some of these visitors very well might be multidimensional in their source. The evidence that we had collected and the evidence that they had repeatedly demonstrated to us, and that's no accident. It became very clear after a time that there was a program or a process of some kind underway, that they had demonstrated over and over and over again that they apparently were able to manipulate matter and time. Now, this really shook up our scientists. There are a lot of new young scientists in particle physics today who talk about multiple dimensions.
Yep.
There's a brilliant young professor in New York by the name of Michio Kaku, who has written a brilliant book called Hyperspace, where they talk about 10 separate dimensions.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I'll post the link, you can watch them. We live in perilous times. People are upset. Everybody's looking for solutions. Everyone's trying to fight and steal each other's resources. And we have people who are coming forward on our Sentinel island, Earth, and they're telling us that we don't have to fight. They're telling us that we have resources and we have abilities that just aren't being shared with us. That all the governments are using these things. They're paranoid, militarized governments to make weapons as opposed to save a planet or feed people. There is no greater human rights violation than governments that hide technology that can prevent the destruction of our planet and starvation of some of our very least. And it's really easy for me, right? It's really easy for me because I don't, like I said, I don't do teams. I don't play sides in anything. I just listen to people. I ask myself a question. Do these people have an interest in lying to me? Who has the greatest interest in lying to you? Your government or these people who keep coming forward? And then I look further into the evidence. Let me show you this picture right here. This is a picture from, I think this was the Curiosity rover. And what this is, all right, let me see if I can move this down. It's like, move the clipper shit out the way. Because after a while, it gets hard to hide. But you know what? I don't think it's just hard to hide either. I think after a while, people who work for these programs, they want you to know what's going on. Like, it's like the greatest problem with the CIA and the MI6 and the FBI and all these groups is they're full of human beings. The greatest problem with Congress and the Senate and your governments is they're full of human beings. And after a while, they understand the damage that these programs do. They understand the problem with the system and profit and greed deciding everything on a planet. Then making more money with high technology that's being kept from people is a bad idea. And then you see pictures like this. This from the Curiosity rover. And there are multiples. Go do a search. I don't have to do the research. You can do it. Just go online and do a search for rover, Curiosity rover UFO pictures. It's not the only one. They were taking pictures that day. And accidentally, somebody was on Mars. Somebody. I don't know who. Say, well, that's just a scratch on the glass. Guess what? There are multiple scratches. It only showed up in one frame. The next photography, the next picture didn't have it in that series. Go look online. Do your research if it's important to you. If it's not important to you and you rather just be right in a conversation and tell all of these thousands of people who work for the FBI, the military, the police, who've all come forward and saying that we're destroying a planet that we don't have to, that they're all, you can call them lying. You can say that they're lying, or you can say that our government doesn't deserve secrets, that our kings and lords have always lied to us from the very beginning. And there are a lot of people in these programs that don't hide it. They'll release the photos. You can see them on JPL's website. You can see them on the European Space Agency website. You can see them everywhere. They don't hide it, which is the problem, because it's on us now, right? The people, like, you know, they like to blame the order followers. They like to blame the people in NASA who just cover things up. I don't think they do. I think that there are a lot of order followers who don't really follow the orders. They keep the job, but they release the pictures. You can go be an anomaly hunter. Like, let me show you this. And that's not the only one. You can go online and see all this stuff everywhere. There are different anomaly hunter groups where you can go and do your own research and take a look around and see all the things that they're finding on Mars that they're lying to you about. See all the things that they're finding on the moon that are just not really in place. Rocks that are floating, things that look like old ancient technology breaking down, rubble on the moon, all the whistleblowers coming forward. Like, we got to stop playing. This is where I'm coming from. We have to stop playing human, and we got to start actually acting like it. If they're reverse engineering technology on Sentinel Island, they're reverse engineering the ships and the drones that have crashed, and they're utilizing them for their society, would you not think we'd be doing the same thing? I think we would. I think we would. I think these people in NASA who release these pictures, they're letting us know. They're letting us know they're the best way that they can. They're not doing a Edward Snowden. They're not doing a Julian Assange. They're not doing a Manning, because they see that we don't back them up. They see the 7 billion people around this planet that are all gonna die together do not back up whistleblowers who come forward. We let the governments go after them. And what just happened this morning? Assange turned down the no death deal, right? America and Britain gave him a deal for no death penalty if he came out, and he refused it. Refused it. Why? Why? And I'm not telling you to get into the people did, he's controlled opposition. If this man is willing to die for saying that government shouldn't have secrets, doesn't that mean something to you at all? Does it mean something to you that, I don't think Bob Lazar was a part of this, but this was the 800 people who worked in government projects have all come forward with, who was it, Stephen Greer, who are willing to go to federal prison to have a congressional investigation that they've worked with these technologies, that these aliens are real, that they're willing to give up their lives. These are moms and dads. They have careers. They're engineers, police officers. They're retired. They're trying to tell the world that, listen, we don't have to kill each other anymore. And they're willing to testify in front of Congress. And you testify in front of Congress, if you lie about these programs, if you lie in front of Congress, it is a federal offense. That is lifetime in prison. So let me ask you a question. What are you willing to die for? Like Assange. What are you willing to actually serve life in a federal maximum security prison for? A lie? Because you want to lie about some pictures on the internet? You want to lie about what you did, and they can look into your background and find out you were like a Bob Lazar, that you did work at this facility, that you did take this flight, that you are a physicist, and that you were right about element 115. Everything's in front of us. It's not on them. This is on us. This is all on us, because all the evidence is out there, all of it. And another question, I want to show you something else. So you remember, when people go to Sentinel Island, where's that Sentinel Island? When people approach the island, you know what the first thing they do? They attack anything that's flying. They attack them. They shoot the spears. They try to, for whatever reason, maybe they shot them initially because people died who left the island with those people. But then maybe later, once they started the Iron Age and they started ripping the metal off of the ships and figuring out how to make sharper spears and make cooking utensils and whatever, maybe they realize now that technology coming in on drones and ships and helicopters or whatever crashes there is useful. So they start their own military industrial complex program. secret security. I don't know, is there multiple tribes on the island? I don't know. Maybe it's one. Maybe they're competing against each other for resources. Who can hunt the most boars? Who has the sharpest spears? Who can take the technology off these ships that are coming? Y'all remember this NASA photo right here? This NASA footage? Y'all remember this? This was a NASA footage where it showed a UFO, and you think that's space junk? Is that space junk in a circle that's flying? That's just probably space junk. All of a sudden you see a flash and the space junk goes the other direction, and you see a laser being shot from the Earth at it. Let's go back, let's play that again. Y'all remember this footage? Oh, it was fake. NASA footage. The drone flies over, looks like it's junk. You see a flash of light and a laser shoots up and the thing flies the other direction. Almost like the sentinelese on the island, shooting at a drone, trying to get a little more technology. And then you have the whistleblower who came forward and said, that's what we do. You have China that came forward and said, we have lasers that can shoot down low orbit satellites. And if China said that, and this was 10, 20 years ago, then of course America has that. Of course Britain has, they all have it. And they're trying to shoot these things down. What are they? Are they aliens? I don't know. You know, they could be us coming back from the future, right? It could be us coming back to check on us. It could be all kind of things. We don't know. But the whole point is we have a right to know. That's why I don't believe in secrets. I don't believe in secrets at all. I don't believe the kings and lords have earned the right to lie to us. We don't have much time. We don't have much time at all. And it's on us. The whistleblowers have done all the work. Every agency across, well, certainly the United States, they've all come forward and said they're lying to us about all of this, about everything, about all the wars, all the resource, all the conflicts, all the economic, the colonization, the economic hitmen, the aliens, the UFO, the high technology, what Hitler was up to, why he was trying to dig up these ancient sites, perhaps because of what Bob Lazar said. What they're finding under the ancient sites, that they build pyramids on top of UFOs, that perhaps they build pyramids on top of just old technology, old tools they use to do things. Because we've been here for hundreds of millions of years and things have always been coming here. Why? Because it's Sentinel Island in the middle of the ocean, Earth. So this is what I think we got to talk about. I think we have to have real conversations about ending the conflicts on this planet. But they don't like to talk about that, right? They like to hide it. Bob Lazar's documentary is something we got to support. Somebody posted a link. I appreciate it. I will post the link after this. Watch the documentary, get the facts, understand that this man is not making money from anything. And there are over 1,000 like him. I mean, every major government have all had programs to investigate what these aerial threats are. All of them. Every last one of them, from the United States to Britain to Russia to Greece to Italy, they're all trying to figure out what the hell is flying in the sky. And if it can fly in the sky without gasoline, isn't that a little important to somebody? Isn't that, I don't know, like, so like they killed this kid in Greece. What was his name? Alexis. 10 years ago. And this is why Greece was rioting last night. What was his name? Alexis, I forgot his name. I'll post the link. They said the kid was an anarchist and the police shot him dead. 15 years old. Happening all over America. Happening all over America. Killing people because they're poor, right? Well, because they're robbers and they're thieves and they're criminals. Are they robbers and thieves and criminals, or do we have a monoculture that doesn't let children live, that doesn't let them survive unless they steal food, and we blame them when they try to survive and steal some food and make a life the only way they know how, because they can't have an education? This is why I'm saying this is the most important topic in the world to me. The governments are always playing us against each other. They always got these games going. And so they're burning cars in the street in Greece last night. You want to fight with the police. You want to fight with each other. You want to fight over religion. You want to fight over all the things that just don't amount to anything in terms of a root solution. If free energy exists and your nations have it, and we have 21 scientists in America that are still working on it, and they can't seem to figure it out. Does it make sense to have 21,000 scientists working on it? If they're saying that we got till 2030 before we can't turn this back around? And I think it's an interesting discussion. They say that the Brookings report kept us from talking about this because the Brookings report, what that was, when we went to the moon, they said if you found anything that resembled alien life, that you can't show the general population because they can't handle it. They were not prepared to know the truth. Why is that? Religion. Religion. I think Brother Jack's talking about the rapture. Religion, because the priests haven't figured out exactly how to fit that in, to how it would make sense. Although the Catholic Church is making progress between them messing with these little boys, they are coming out and they're trying to prepare people that if aliens exist, they're our brothers. That brings up a lot of good questions. So if aliens exist, do they need to be saved? Do they worship Jesus? Do they need the Lord and Savior? Do they have to make a journey to Mecca on a regular basis? Do they have to take communion? Do they got to drink the wine? Can their biology digest that? These are real interesting questions, and I don't have the answers. I'm not going to pretend to you for 1 minute I got any of the answers. The only thing I know is that we've been worshiping a lot of little G gods like they're a big G god, and we got a lot of it wrong. I don't know all the bits and parts and pieces that we have wrong, but my mind is open. I'm open to anything to try to figure out what the hell is going on, because we don't get to make it if we can't figure it out, people. We got to start having discussions. We got to start opening up people's minds and stop playing these games. You are not alone on Sentinel Island. There's a whole damn earth outside on the other side of the sea. You are not by yourself. Stop trusting these kings and these lords. All right. I went off and ranted. Oh my goodness. I love this topic. I like to talk about it. People say, you got to talk about aliens. How come we don't talk about aliens no more? I do. I always got to come back around at things. You got to look at the world and look at the death and destruction all over and everything that's happening, and you got to rope it back. I do my best to rope people in and pull them in so we can have these discussions in a way that makes it make sense. And they understand that we're always being lied to, understand that there are bigger things than us that are going on in the world. Just because we're okay in the Western world doesn't mean everybody else is. Like, all the reasons they fight and the conflict around the world is always over resources. And if there's a whole damn universe of coltan and tin and uranium and oil and all the things that we want, that we don't actually have to murder people for them if we can get to them. That's why I say governments can't have any secrets. Can't have any secrets at all, ever. Because they don't deserve it. They always lie to us. I am going to comments. Very, very important that we watch the Bob Lazar documentary that's coming out. It blew my mind to find out that he didn't want a dime of it. Gave up his career as a physicist to tell everybody that they have alien technology. Well, let's say it the right way. That they have high technology, that he says he has no idea where it came from. He just knows that they weren't broken ships. They weren't crashed ships, which makes sense to me half the time, because I'm like, if people can fly here from other planets and galaxies, how in the hell do they crash? That makes no sense to me. If you have that high level of technology, you're not crashing. Now, maybe they're trying to shoot them down, but I think they probably found them under sights. I think it could have been us in the future. Maybe we are in the future and we're trying to help us out in the past, and we send back technology to help us evolve. Maybe. Who knows? I think time travel is perfectly possible. I think quantum physics is opening up a whole world for us. I think it's opening up new discussions. The idea that the fact that there are multiple dimensions, that maybe these are multi-dimensional creatures. So don't argue about where this stuff is coming from. The whole point is that there are clipper ships on the coast of Sentinel Island. We need to be anomaly hunters. Look for the anomaly, not necessarily the Mars anomaly, the moon anomaly. Look for the anomaly in the lies. Your government lying to you, your political party lying and corrupt and deceitful, and they don't want to change because they're politicians and they're stupid and they're being played by corporations. They have a job that they're trying to perform. when really they're supposed to be providing a service to the planet, not a disservice, a service of actually exposing what's true, of actually working for us, of actually being representatives, not bastards trying to get a key to the bunker when the destruction that always seems to come to this little silly planet happens. All right, I am going to comments. Change my background. You got to go back to the beginning. Watch from the beginning. I'm not going to repeat that. It's an interesting topic, but we can't seem to figure out that there's always some colonizers colonizing something. We always want to be so great, don't we? We always want to be alone. We always want to be the special. In reality, we're not unspecial. We're just a thing in a really big world. And we always have bad things coming for us. Bad things are always happening. We're either preparing for the bad or we're fighting each other until we all disappear. The water's always rising. That's why I love ancient archaeology. I like to look at all the cities they're finding under the ocean, like that pyramid off the coast of Cuba. Also extraterrestrial, if you break it down, extra-terra just means extra Earth. Thank you, Ty. Very simple. Extraterrestrial. And extraterrestrial to the sentinelese on the island is called England. Okay? And it's not special and it's not crazy, it's not new. An extraterrestrial to an uncontacted tribe is this Christian dude who showed up and they shot him and they killed him. Extraterrestrial. There are no aliens. It's just life and how all of this works together. All right, let's go now. Let me see what y'all got to say. We might as well tear the statue down, Gerard. America was built on the backs of immigrants, but we are closing to the Golden Gate behind that we are closing to the Golden Gate. Yeah, well, you know what? I think the statue is important. I think the statue is important, Brother Kevin, number one, because it's Muslim. Number one, because it's a Muslim woman. That's number one, right? You got to bridge these gaps between religions and Christianity and science and archaeology and pull it all together, right? One, I like her up there because she's Muslim. A lot of people don't know that. You didn't catch it. I said it 2 seconds ago, she's Muslim. Did I say that? That's one reason I like it. She stands for liberty. And plus it's a historical thing, right? Like, I think history is so important to us. If we always have constant reminders, there's never really good and evil in history. It's just history. And we repeat it when we forget it. That's why I'm not interested in like the tearing down statues. Do anyone take down the statues of Robert E. Lee and destroy history? No, we need to know that history. We need to embrace it. If you really don't like Robert E. Lee and you don't know the history of Robert E. Lee and how he's better than all of us, he's more progressive than everybody here on this broadcast because he gave up his slaves, then build a bigger statue. But don't forget your history. Don't tear down. We've been divided up and conquered since the beginning of time. And it's time that we stop. We're moving. People say we're moving into a new vibration. They say we're moving to a new area of the universe, the age of Aquarius. I don't know anything about that. What I do know is the water is always rising. We're on Sentinel Island. We're getting less and less land. They're fighting over the sand. They're fighting over the oil. And if we keep fighting each other, we all go away. That's why occult knowledge is occultic hidden till you get to know it and then see it everywhere. Yet, Ty, which is why we have to share these things, which I appreciate you sharing. It's a crazy topic. It is a crazy topic. A lot of people are scared of it. Stop being scared. We're adults. We can't let these things remain hidden. We have to look at history and look at how the world works today and start having real discussions. If we let the mainstream media dictate what we talk about, we don't get to make it. We absolutely don't get to make it. There are many secret places unknown and kept hidden from the public. Yes, there are, Gloria, and we're not allowed to go there. We can't go to Antarctica. We can't go to the pyramids. They hear people working under the pyramids at night. They hear hammers, and if you go, you'll see the wires going into sections of the pyramids. You're not allowed to go because they're doing the same thing Hitler did, same thing America did. NASA has a site in Egypt. Did you know that? NASA has a site at one of the archaeological sites in Arizona. They're definitely looking at history. Like, when I asked a question. Where were you when you realized the CIA was looking for Noah's Ark? You ever think about that? Yeah, did you know that? The CIA was looking for Noah's Ark, the Mount Ararat anomaly. They have a whole file on it. Why is your CIA interested in something that your government tells you is fantasy? Because it ain't fantasy. That's why. The ancients weren't booty scratching, half naked, dumb people running around making things up. I don't believe in mythology. I think the Greeks told you exactly how it was handed down to them, how somebody saw it, and the same thing the Muslims did in the Quran, the same things the Christians did before they made the Bible. They all just said what was true. The Aborigines, the Native Americans, they all told you the same damn thing. And either we want to trust our ancestors or we want to trust this world that's decaying around us. NASA, Nasha, to deceive in Hebrew. Oh, go on, Ty, with it. Bring it, Ty. I prefer never a straight answer, but that works better too. And NASA got started right after they got all the Germans from Hitler going all around the world looking for whatever he was looking for, and if they found it. So the drone is way faster. Yeah, Lori, the drone's way faster. I don't know if the sentinelese have ever shot down a drone. I don't know if they successfully got one of them. But the only thing they do know is they are reverse engineering our technology. They are reverse engineering ships. The same way Bob Lazar said he was a reverse engineering and he worked with Element 115. Aliens are our evolved ancestors. And it could be, Crystal. You know what? I think Hollywood gave us a lot of secrets. Like I look at Battlestar Galactica. We look at the fact that there were footprints from 300 million years ago that were human beings. You look at they found the hammers in coal, and they found these old pots in rock, and they found these things, these ooparts, right? Out of place artifacts that show that we are a hell of a lot older than what anybody's letting us know. You know, archaeologists, Mary Leakey's coming forward. She found the footprints. There's so much evidence. Blows my mind how there's more evidence that we've been here for millions of years than there's evidence of any God that we talk about. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And they're keeping it all from us. It could be our evolved ancestors. We could have 300 million years ago evolved and left the planet, and the planet went through some cataclysmic whatever, and they're just us coming back. You know, like Sergeant Major General, what's his name? He just said that, you know, that he knew of Robert Dean. Major Commander Sergeant Major Robert Dean from the United States Air Force, worked at NATO, said there were 4 species. And one of them looked just like us. He said you could be sitting right next to him. Right? I could be one, yo. I could be one. Hey, Christelle, I'm an alien, man. I'm an alien, girl. I could be, you would never know. He said you would never know. So they could be. It could have been us. We left a long time ago. And it would make all the Egyptians' hieroglyphics make a lot of sense. You know, all the tribes they see that they just disappeared, the civilizations that were evacuated, makes it make sense. Where is that, in Rome, where they have the underground cities? Well, they got underground cities all over the world, but I think it was Rome or Italy where there were like 11 floors of underground city. You know, why would people build massive cities under the earth if something wasn't attacking them from the sky, right? Makes perfectly good sense. And I think it's an important thing. Alien could be watching me right now. Alien could be watching right now. That's some scary stuff. But why? Why would they do that? I don't know. I would imagine that if I was on, where did Bob Lazar say that these ships came from, that they realized where they came from? They came from Zeta Reticuli, and they found out it's a dual sun solar system. If I lived on Zeta Reticuli and I came from y'all, I guess we would come back to help. I guess we would come back and we might infiltrate into your government. We might infiltrate into your world, help you out with, I don't know, making drones and AI and maybe Velcro and different things. But certainly, like, that's like Star Trek type stuff. I was a Star Trek kid. That makes sense to me. That makes perfectly good sense. And it's just how the world works. I mean, do we go back and help uncontacted tribes? There's a good question. Look at history. Are we going back and helping the Amazonians? Yes, we are. Are we going back and helping people in Africa? Yes, we are. But are we also going back and murdering them and stealing their resources? Yeah, we're doing that too. But we're going back. So if we go back after we colonize the whole world, develop high technology in the modern world, it would make sense that if we ever made it off of this and V-minors are real and everybody across the whole planet on every continent wasn't lying about flying ships, that we come back. That makes sense. Cops can't shoot legs if they feel they must shoot. Cops can't shoot legs if they feel they must shoot. Well, that's true, Lori, but but I think that the scarcity drives that, right? Like, why are police shooting people? Why are we? It's because the laws create scarcity, because scarcity makes a lot of money. Starved populations, you can make a lot of money from them, and that's why this is all related, because if we don't have poor kids, we have a lot less crime. If people all got food and houses and cars and everything that they need, you don't have crime, because who in the hell is going to go do a crime so they can be thrown into a cage? So this is why I don't blame police. I just ask very simple questions. Why do police have guns anymore? Why? What is the purpose for police having lethal weapons? None, right? Our government starves the people because they get good retirements on it. They write good books. They write all the legislation, taking everybody's rights, starving everybody. And then they give the police guns and they build more cages. They're making industries out of collapsing the entire earth into this ridiculous apocalypse of insane artificial scarcity and planned obsolescence. Meanwhile, the politicians don't even know half the time they do. Do you know? This is why I don't blame the politicians, because they're stupid. They're ignorant. That's the right word. I'm sorry. They're ignorant. There are 12 levels of secrecy over the American president. Do you know that? 12 levels of secrecy. And yet the president actually runs the United States. This is why I don't get it when everybody still wants to attack Obama and attack Trump and all this. They do this as a disguise. These people don't even know about this technology. They don't even know. It's above their head. That's up to us. The whistleblowers that gave us all the evidence, they told us all about all the technology they have, and we simply refuse to say governments can't have secrets. We refuse to say it. We refuse to put body cameras on them, so we can find out they're working with the prison industrial complex to write laws to create the crime bill to throw a bunch of black people in prison, and they're a black caucus that's actually doing it. They didn't have body cameras to find out that they were a bunch of sellouts. We didn't have that detail. Now you do. You don't have the body camera on the current administration now who's going to just, well, all right, I'm going to stop. I don't want to, stop. I want people to talk. I don't want people to argue and fight over things. We don't get out of this arguing and fighting. I walked away from Catholicism. The Pope is evil. The Pope is evil. The Pope Glory has killed, what, they say over 80 million people since they've created. Why is the Pope still a thing? Right? God is within you. You have a direct relationship with big G God, whatever that is. Pope is a little G God. We got to stop playing with the little G gods. 77 years ago, Pearl Harbor. I'm sorry, Gloria, I missed that. What was that about? Yes, Brother Joseph, we are in the age of deceit. They lie about all of this, and we take it in because it's easier to fight with other poor people, our neighbors, than to fight with the system. We have a bunch of adults that are scared to take it on, but thank God they aren't scared in Greece, are they, Brother Joseph? They ain't scared in Greece. They aren't scared in France neither. That's why I said I need to order 7 billion yellow jackets, please. Hello, Amazon, I need 7 billion yellow jackets, and we're gonna take them yellow jackets and shut y'all down. Why is Amazon still even a company? Why is anybody buying any crap from them? I don't know. I have no idea. People want hope for the better, faith in religion. It's all about that from the followers. It is, Lori, because scarcity does that to people. People are scared and they're fearful. They look like adults, but they're scared little kids. And so they need someone to group up with. So they got to find people that got their skin color, people who share their ethnicity, people in their nation, and they group up. And so they want to fight over things because they need something to believe in. And we got to grow up and be adults and stop being scared and just take the covers over our eyes and stop acting like children and say, you know what? The world is a scary place. And we don't understand this. The universe is a scary place. The waters are rising. We all might die. And we're damn sure going to die if we don't stop being led into conflict with each other and start demanding the people leading us into conflict don't have any secrets. They're also stopping CERN for 2 years so they can update the calendar. And that's another thing, Gloria. How is CERN even a thing in secrecy? They're playing with technologies that could bring about the end of this planet. They say could open a dimension to it. What is the show, The Mist, where you possibly could open up another dimension and let things in, and I don't think you'll have big monsters and creatures walking around, but damn it, what if they open another dimension, let some sort of gas in? There's some sort of radiation that destroys. They're playing with stuff that nobody has any idea. And I don't know if that's conspiracy theory or not. I really don't care. If you are playing with the technology called CERN that can bring about major destruction, I want every damn scientist on the world who looks at it to know what the hell you're doing. I want it open source so that if you are playing with something that can murder all of our kids or kill billions of people, that you don't do it in secrecy. There can't be any more secrets when you have Lex Luthor type technologies being utilized by the most greediest people on the planet. I guess the answers are at the Vatican. Yeah, the Vatican got all those secrets, Brother Jack. They got all the ancient documents. Why, and ask yourself this question. Why would the Vatican be hiding all of those documents if there weren't something in them that were there that were important? They're hiding them because there's a whole lot of important information about all the ancient stuff that we are taught and raised as kids to believe that it's all mythology. What about the wheel Farrakhan speaks of? You know what, Trudell? I don't know anything about the wheel Farrakhan speaks of. It's something like Ezekiel and Enoch, where they're kind of explaining to us that there's high technology and all of our ancients tried to warn us. That's why I think they etched it in the stone, because they didn't want us to be this stupid as we are today, fighting each other because of their skin color and because of their religion. They told us that there was something greater out there, and we refused to believe our ancients because it's easier to fight somebody who's poor next door. Better get your ice skates. According to many, we got a mini ice age coming. Does that mean we get to migrate towards Ecuador? You know what, Glenn? They're not gonna have us. Glenn, Honduras gonna have a big wall waiting for us. All the gangs and warlords and cartels that we're building up there, oh, they gonna build up a wall. Hell no, they gonna let us walk down there. You know, but you know, we think it's a better idea to fight and kill each other than to work together and fight something that's fighting us. Nature is always coming for us. Always some comets coming. The water's always rising. There's always some microbiology that's just learning how to thrive off of murdering the most prolific resources on the planet. Right now, that resource is us. The avian flu. You know, we don't want to be serious about things. We want to keep playing politics. That's why I hate politics. It's a useless discussion in every way. The schools never taught us true history. They taught us lies. Now we're relearning. Yes, they are, Glory, but some of us are. Not enough of us, though. Not enough of us are open. A lot of people know that school lied to them, but they're not really willing as adults to step up and go look for the information. That's why I'm saying everybody's got to do the research, y'all. Everybody. I can't be it. My friends can't be it. Everybody has to look into this stuff to try to solve these problems. You know, we are a collective. Like I got into a good discussion with a brother yesterday. We are a collective. We are a hive, right? Everybody's an individual. I mean, we're wave energy, but we are a hive. We're supposed to be operating as a hive. You go do your research, I go do mine, she does hers. We all come back together. We share the points. I don't have it all right. You don't have it all right. She doesn't have it all right. But when everybody goes and puts the puzzle pieces together, it actually makes sense. And that's the reason I love this live stream. Y'all can hate on Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, all you want. I love this. I love it to death because nothing has made me smarter than you people. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because I can go away and I can do some research and come back here. People send me links. I'll look into it and I'll give you my thought and my 2 cents as a software engineer and IT and working with big business. And someone else did this and worked with that, flip that out. Then we put it all back together. We become this hive, and there's nothing more powerful than a hive. You have a community of people who feel willing to talk to each other. That's why I'm okay with everybody. I'm okay with the flat earthers. I'm okay with the Muslims and the Christians and the gaslit, the extreme right, the extreme left, the Nazis. Everybody come on in. Because that's how we solve things. Everybody has a different perspective than you. And if you're willing to let people talk, if you don't ban hate speech and censor people, and you got friends who are willing to share with you, you can become the smartest hive that'll outdo anything. And this is why I don't think Bob Lazar is a fool. Bob Lazar was right. Them shooting Uzis at him, trying to get away and tell everybody about Area 51. He had it right. You want a hive. You don't want 21 scientists looking at some old alien UFO or machine power company, whatever it is that they found under the pyramid or whatever they found. You don't want 21 scientists. They all could have got C's and D's. And you know what, to be honest with you, if you got 21 people who actually are keeping secret technology, high technology that could prevent climate change from the planet, those are, use the right words, those are not the type of people that you actually want working on this. You want 21,000 scientists. You want 21 million. You want alien pictures of these ancient technology or future technology that came back in every high school textbook. You want kids looking at it. You want everybody processing, because you never know. It could be that one person, that one useless hippie. You know, the kid that plays the video games y'all don't like, y'all keep saying, go get a job, you bum. Could have been an anarchist like Alexis out of Greece that they murdered in the street at 15 because he was an anarchist. It could have been him. He could have been playing video games his whole life. Get a job, bum, get a job. He's playing, and the neurons in his head are forming. He's getting good with hand-eye coordination, and all of a sudden one day he has an epiphany. Boop! How to make that energy device work. And that might be his one contribution. That's why I'm saying we're all connected. We're all connected. We are all just wave energy, and everybody has their bits and pieces and parts. Yeah, but I can't work with this person because I don't like this person. Nobody got to like you, dummy. I don't even like you. I love you. I don't like everybody. I love everybody. I don't like everybody, but I got to work with everybody. That's how this world works, as a hive. People don't have to like you. Stop it with this people liking you. I got to tell you something. I saw somebody I didn't like the other day. Let me tell you. I saw somebody, I'm not even going to say whose live stream it was on. I'm not going to say it. I was watching it. Some people told me, like, you got to watch this live stream. I was watching it. And I was like, listen to this lady going on talking about how she doesn't like to be abused, and she abusing the hell out of one of my friends in a live stream. I'm like, are you kidding me? Talking about how bad patriarchal society was, and she just took on all the patriarchal everything and dominating the conversation, emasculating the guy. And I was just like, you know what? I don't think you. It's not that I don't like her. It's just I don't think we get along. I don't like to tell people what to do. I don't like people telling me what to do. But it's okay. You don't have to berate somebody because you don't like them. You don't have to ignore them. And actually, I watched the whole live stream. I watched the whole thing, and the lady had some really good points later on. In the beginning, I was like, people don't have to like you. Nobody has to like you. Shoot, half the time, you probably shouldn't like you. That's how we evolve. But we got to work together, people. That's how we get out of here. If we don't work together, if we don't, Lori's saying communication, if we don't communicate, we all die. That's it. Somebody was saying, y'all remember that game, Skate or Die? Y'all remember Skate or Die? That was back, was that Atari? I forgot what that was. Skate or Die? We have a choice. We can work together, we can die. We can hive or die. That's how it comes down. Hive or die. And America is not a hive. I'm sorry, it's not. Britain is not a hive. Greece is not a hive. A hive is everybody, everywhere, realizing that the world is a hell of a lot bigger than what we've been told. That the universe is a hell of a lot bigger than what we've been told. That we are on this planet, and we're blessed. We are so blessed to have just enough people in NASA, just enough people in these deep state programs and projects to where they would actually release information. They'll release pictures. They let us actually see that we are on Sentinel Island, that we have been separated from the whole universe, perhaps. We've been separated from our history. We've been separated from the technology that could be a game changer. What is it worth to you? What is it worth? Would you give up your life like Julian Assange? Would you give up your life like Bob Lazar? What is the planet worth? I know what you're worth. I know what your retirement's worth. I know, because you go to work every day, work with people you don't like. Every day. Going to work with people you don't like for a paycheck. What's the planet worth? Can you work with people you don't like for a paycheck? Can you work with people from a different nation for a pay? Can you drop your nationalism for a planet? Can you? I hope you can. If not, we're not supposed to be here. If not, we are not supposed to be here. Oh, talking about the Denver airport, Nicole? Ooh, okay. So yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Was it there, Colorado, the big airport in Denver, Colorado that people can't go to with they got that horse with the red eyes is glowing. That's crazy. But underneath it, they have a whole city. What do I think, Nicole? I think that they have the ability to drill tunnels the same way that whistleblower told us, that they're using lasers or something and they're building massive cities underground. Why? Because all the tractor trailer drivers are telling us that they're delivering massive supplies to underground bunkers. I believe it. Brandon, somebody told me he went into one of the bunkers under a massive mall. He said he went down for 3 minutes before he hit the bottom. They're building massive cities under the planet. Why? They're doing the same thing the ancients did in that city. What was that? Was it Rome where they found that massive city underground, 11 floors? They're building underground the same way they always have been. Why? Government continuity, king continuity, lord continuity, princess and prince continuity. I hope you're a princess. I hope you're a prince. They know something. They've been digging these cities and making these massive bunkers for a long time, for thousands of years, because whatever's in space that keeps coming back, that the Aborigines told you about, these star people that all the Native Americans told you about, Quetzalcoatl and everybody that the Aztecs told you about, all the people the Egyptians told you about, the Sanskrit text, and all the things that created the Star Wars trilogy, all of those facts that you were calling mythology, all the Greek gods, Thor's hammer that came from who knows God, where, what planet, what, all of that stuff. It's all fake. And your government's telling the truth. Crystal said, as above, so below. That's so simple. As above, so. If you don't know your history, and we are all played against each other. Mother Earth is getting ready to shake us like fleas off like a dog, like a fleas off a dog. After we are gone, Mother Earth will reclaim and heal. Yes, it will, Victoria, if we don't stop the ridiculous, lost, ignorant elite from destroying every damn thing for resources that are all over this freaking solar system. Hell yeah, it will. It will, and we'll be gone. And we'll have to do it all over again. Like the Egyptians said, there were 12 great civilizations that all got wiped out, and we're gonna get wiped out again if we don't stop playing this game. Wow, they're gonna blow up the world. Yes, they will, Christine, because they always do. And if not, the world blows up itself. And when the world blows up itself, we won't take care of each other because we're not working together. We all die with it. We'll come back. They'll come back from Zeta Reticuli. They'll come back. And they'll reseed us, restart it, and drop off the inmates. That would right. We might be that. We might be a prison planet. They'll come back, drop off the inmates. Oh damn, we got to start a new civilization. Your kids would be okay, but y'all are crazy and psychopaths, and y'all don't get to stay on Zeta Reticuli. They take you to Earth, drop you off on Earth, and let everything start again. Ego is the cart before the horse. It is, Ellen, and our ego is always the problem. You gotta like me. You gotta like me. This is my nation. This is my country. Put up some borders instead of taking care of people. What did I was thinking about scripture this morning. What did that scripture say? Speaking of the migrants, it says something to the effect of that you got to love everybody, that you got to take care of everybody when they come to your door, because sometimes you are entertaining angels unknowingly. That sometimes people come to your door are actually angels. And what is an angel? An extraterrestrial. Perhaps. If they look like us, and what Sergeant Dean said, that they look just like us, boy, you better hope that one of them migrants coming from the border ain't an angel. Oh, it's gonna hurt. You better hope one of them little kids, all the ones that you refuse to let in. That's why I'm saying that people, you gotta look at your scripture and you gotta believe it. You know, it's one thing to have a religion. It's another thing to actually believe it, that you're supposed to take care of everybody, that we are one. I love the other scripture, we are of the earth. No, we are on the earth. We're not of the earth. You know what that sounds like to me? That kind of sounds like some quantum physics explanation that we're wave energy, that we are trapped on this earth and we are captives, but we're actually quantum physics wave energy, and we're all connected. We're just divided up on this earth because there's something that we got to learn. And one of those things has got to be working together, that we are one, that you can't offend somebody else without offending yourself, because we're all related. And then you die and you go back to this oneness, this root, this God, this heaven, whatever you want to call it, Shangri-La. We go back to that and we realize, damn it, we messed up. You know the game ends, you play the video again, like, gosh, I messed up. And at the end, you see the last level and you see that the giant, the last guy you're fighting at the end of the level, he dies. And you realize the secret, like, oh, that's the secret. That's the secret. That feeling. How many of us are dying and we're getting that feeling? Like, how many people you know close to you that just died? Like, oh no, I gotta tell them. You know, like end of life. You know, people come back like, dang it, I saw it. Oh, we were together, yo. We were one. We're supposed to wave energy. I'm dying. I can't say it. I can't say it. Dang it. And then you forget and you got to start all over at the beginning of the level. Pop out your baby. Pop out your mama womb. Got to start all over again. Somebody figured it out, didn't they? Somebody figured out, put some cheat codes out there for us. That's what I think the Egyptian hieroglyphics are. That's what I think the clay Sumerian tablets are. All the scriptures that are in the Vatican that nobody reads. I think that's what they are. Somebody had a cheat code. I got a son. Oh, he uses the cheat codes all the damn time. We'll play some strategy games. We're like, how the hell he get all these resources? He got the cheat codes. That's my son. That's my son, Miles. He got the cheat codes. I'm like, how the hell's he got all these resources? He beating everybody in the game because he saw he got the Sumerian tablets. He like the federal government. He's like the military industrial complex. He got the cheat codes in the game. That's what I think the clay tablets are, y'all. That's why I think stop hating on religion. Stop hating on these scriptures. They're cheat codes. Stop fighting with science. Find science and religion the same damn thing. Please read the cheat codes. Where are the cheat codes? The cheat codes are all over the internet. So I'm giving y'all homework. Here's the homework. If you want to join this community, you want to help out in this family. I know sometimes it's fun to sit here and watch me be stupid and silly and say all this stuff. Your homework is to go on the internet and use the internet for what it was designed for. It was designed to be a free tool for research. Go on the internet and become an anomaly hunter. And start looking through all of this. Start looking through what makes sense and what doesn't. Because you know why? There's a lot of lying stuff out there too. It's not all true. There's a lot of lying stuff like the government. There's a lot of people lie about stuff. But you know, some people can spot lies and I can't, right? So you can see something that makes sense, you know, but all the pictures, they're all over JPL's website. They're all on the European Space Agency. But all of these people out here looking for these anomalies in Antarctica and everywhere else, things that just don't make sense on Mars, like maybe we've been there before, we've been on the moon before. It all gives credibility to the Bob Lazars. It all gives credibility to Element 115. It all gives credibility to the fact that we live on a damn planet we've been lied to the whole time. And this guy right here, he probably on Mars right now. U.S. government, United States Space Force, he's probably on Mars right now, cleaning off the solar panels to get the Curiosity rover back going. All right, hey, truth is stranger than fiction. All right, Jeannie said it. That's it. Jeannie, last comment. I got to get out of here. Open source Earth. Open source everything. Why? Because it doesn't matter if we're a hive, if we're all being lied to. It doesn't matter if we're a hive, if they hide the secret. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how many degrees you got, what you think you know, your experience. None of it means a damn thing if they're lying about what's true. We need an open source Earth. All governments, all corporations, no secrecy, no classified, no top secret, no secret technologies. This Earth is coming to an end. The waters are rising and we're murdering people we shouldn't be murdering. And Yemen alone should tell you. When you're killing 14 million kids over resources, that's when it's time to stop being a greedy bastard. That's when it's time to start listening to the whistleblowers. So anyway, I gotta get going. Y'all have a great weekend. This is Gerard. Love y'all to death. That was fun. I missed the alien talk. I love aliens. But watch the Bob Lazar documentary. I'll post a link. There was a good hour-long conversation he did with Secure Team. I'll post it. You can watch it. The truth is stranger than fiction. And we all gonna die, but we all aren't gonna live. Have a great weekend.